What's up, everybody? My name's I'm a Slinky here, and today, guys, we're gonna go over 6 Mercs that I believe are underrated. Today, guys, this is my opinion of these first 6 Mercs, and I have all the Mercs, so I can say I believe I've done some research, and to say these specific Mercs with these specific power abilities or treasures, they can definitely affect how a game goes. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, I think maybe I have to do one about overrated ones, but I'll have to do some more research on that one. Today, guys, I'm gonna start off with Caryl. Caryl, I believe, is underrated, pretty big time actually. I think she's a pretty a higher end um, mercenary to the point where I think maybe even to the point maybe tier A of the spectrum. A lot of people put her at B. I'm like, okay, but I think she's tier A, and for 2 reasons. Number one, her taunt ability, just restoring, just being able to get a turn one taunt to protect Samuro, to protect maybe your shadow comp, to protect a few other things from fighters and protectors. Obviously not casters, because that's just a thing. But her taunt ability with her Tome of Light. Tome of Light, I think, is the best ability and an underrated one at best, guys. Especially for maybe newer players, maybe trying to figure out how to get there. Tome of Light was super solid ability. I think one of the better ones out of this list. I've maxed out my Caryl, so she has an extra attack and 5 health. So that actually has mattered in quite a bit of games on how I've been able to win some. But I think her taunt and her Seal of Light. I don't think a lot of people use Seal of Light enough. Seal of Light has been super useful. Mostly I use it for the 15 health. Just being able to restore 15 health is awesome. I think that ability is super solid, and not a lot of people, like I said, use it, but it's underrated. Being able to maybe buff a Samuro, buff maybe a Cornelius, maybe buff something else, maybe even a caster you buff, right, to get that extra, nice attack so that it can maybe kill something on breakpoint. So, Seal of Light underrated. Tome of Light, I think, her best ability. Underrated. All right, guys. So the next one is Cornelius, and I'm gonna say the 2 things right now. There's a combo here with Cornelius. I'll show you guys here in a second, but I want to talk about his underrated abilities first. Blessing a Sacrifice. Blessing a Sacrifice is absolutely one of those abilities that is one of the. This is a combo with Mr. Smite, his Overboard ability. So you can do this and Overboard. I'll show you guys here in a second. Uh, um, his ability. Let's get Mr. Smite. There we go. Oh, nope, never mind. That doesn't work. There we go. And let's show Mr. Smite's ability here. Overboard 2. Overboard. Gain health when a friendly character is damaged. So you do this with where's Cornelius? With this, and so this takes the damage instead of Mr. Smite, and so it's dealing mass amounts of damage, and it's gaining a mass amount of health. So you could probably have close to a 90 health Mr. Smite by the time this is all said and done, which is absurd. Super underrated combo. I know this is a one-trick pony kind of thing, but this is what I say underrated. The second ability I want to talk about is Hold the Front. Hold the Front, obviously, I have it maxed out, which is 22 health, because of Band of the Enlightenment. But I'm gonna say, guys, this is a great ability to protect from. Again, it's another Caryl ability, but it's a little bit better. Gives health to adjacent minions. It has taunt, and it has 11 attack. The downside here is it does have to it does take a little bit of damage, but if let's say you want to hold the front, this is a huge amount of health, and it's 4. 4 is really good, I think, in the meta. 4 and 5 is the break point for right now, as of this point. So Blessing a Sacrifice and Hold the Front. Extra health, a little combo that's budget. Pretty sweet. All right, I'm going to talk about Alex Straza, and on this list, probably the most surprising out of the list. I was going through them all, and I was like, guys, which one is the best? What are some abilities? And guys, Dragon Queen's Gambit, I know people don't talk about this, but this thing slaughtered me. I don't play, nobody plays around Dragon Queen's Gambit, from my understanding. Being able to speed it up, I'll show you guys here uh, as it lags up, but now it's 5. It's 5 now. Dragon Queen's Gambit a little faster. I know it's a 2-turn ability, but you could have this come off the bench and it costs 5. You know, it could even cost more than that or lower than that. Um, and you know it can be 3 up potentially, which is crazy, and it might even be less than that if, you know, based on this next upgrade. So to say that Dragon Queen's Gambit isn't used enough and that you're able to speed up and maybe kill a mercenary in the process, you know, that's some, you know, maybe something people don't do enough of. You know, maybe, yeah, think about this one ability a little bit more. That's why I kind of use it. uh, the second ability is the flame buffet. If you're able to get a dragon on field, and I know a lot of people are like, hey, you know, Alex Strauss is 1 dragon away, but her ability, you know, flame buffet, you know, if you have a Voon ability and you're able to keep that dragon alive, it's like that's 42 damage that I have across the board. That's a lot of damage. And I'm just gonna say right now, guys, it's like, you know, could potentially, you know, see a maybe a Alex Straza in the future if we have a new dragon coming. That's pretty solid. All right, let's jump over to Mutanus. And Mutanus again, another surpriser here. You know, all these underrated ones I've picked. I'm gonna say Earthen Armor, extra health, extra attack, super great. You know, extra ways to get health, extra ways to get attack, and just so good to have that extra stuff to extra ways for breakpoints. The breakpoints are really good right now, and I'm gonna say, to get this extra attack here is so good, but also, you know, it's already 50 health, you know, on 16 that you can have already. So I'm really ecstatic. But I want to talk about this ability here, Scaly Taunt. I want to say Scaly Taunt is really underrated, and it's actually very screwed me over. That's why I talk about this ability, because you know, abilities like this, you know, maybe people haven't seen yet, but you know, at the moment I have it 2. I think the most it's 5. I believe it's 5 that takes less. I had someone the other day play this, and then I just wasn't able to get through it, and I was just like, man, this is so strong. Like a lot of people, you know, might not use this, but another underrated ability, and I can't say enough. Underrated stuff is so great to see. I think a lot of people don't cover things like this enough. All right, let's jump over to Morgul, and this one might be the most underrated hero in the game. This one is more because Murloc Missiles gives 5 health to Murlocs, but this treasure right here, Murloc Missile, buffs all characters. So the Morgul's Myth is really good. So once you have this, guys, it's like I think Morgul is just that good enough to make into a lot of comps. I know it has 78 health, which is one of the highest um health casters in the game that I know of, one of the highest health minion or mercenaries in the game that I'm aware of. Um so you just you can't say enough that Murloc missiles at 4 and then having an extra buffer to your mercenaries is just so good. That's extra 15 health across the board. I had someone play against this a little bit ago, and I was like, man, that's so strong. And you know, another underrated ability that maybe people haven't come to life yet. And then I want to talk about Healing Wave here. Just I've pretty much almost maxed it out. 23 health if it's acted. That's a lot of health. That's pretty much as a Cornelius effect, except Cornelius does a little bit more to adjacent, but this one is a target specific one. So it's just, you know, if you're able to target something, gain more than 23 health, and then it heals 38 health, like that's a lot of healing. That's enough for that's a 19 health attack crit. That's a lot. That is a lot of healing. A lot of people haven't played Morgul, and you know, once I get Morgul's Mint, like I'm gonna have all kinds of things with Morgul. Like, you know, one of the most underrated probably characters in this Mercenaries right now, I think, and I don't think people have found out about it yet. Just gonna let you know that's how I feel about that. And then Garrosh. Let's just jump over to Garrosh here. Why is Garrosh underrated? Well, two things, guys. Horde strength allows more health. So obviously you see 8 here, but this grants an extra 4. I want to max this out so hard, so much, guys. But you know, being able to get that extra health, you know, across the board is, you know, that's 3 mercenaries casually you can do, you know, plus 36 health, which is more than 100 health. It's actually more than 110 health, which is absurd. Like that's probably enough for F2P players, honestly. But that's absurd. How is Horde Strength just that good at 2? It's 2, it has 1 turn cooldown, and you're able to gain a bunch of health to protect your stuff? Like, I just don't get how, like, Garrosh has not played much either. Another one that I believe is this one is pretty severely underrated too. Morgul and Garrosh. You know, I was doing this list and I was like, man, this is underrated. This is underrated. Then I was just like doing the next best ones. Morgul and Garrosh, I would recommend in the future, get them up now before they become meta. Like I just feel like these two are going to be meta very, very soon. It's like recommend big time to upgrade. And if you want to play orc comps, like Battle Shout's awesome too. That's an extra. What I have is 6 attack, but I think it starts out basic 4 attack, which is really solid. So just to say, guys, like Morgul and Garrosh, I think are the most underrated ones. Mutanus is solid, and then these other 3, you know, you can make an argument for maybe not the most underrated, but I did do this list based on, you know, how I had felt about them. I had played them all. So that's my opinion, guys. In the comments below, how do you think I did? And do you think that there are other characters that are underrated? And comment those characters that you believe are underrated. Hope you guys had enjoyed today's video, and I hope you guys have a great day. This has been Slinky.